Hello guys and welcome back to DarkHorseFM, and in this video we're going to be talking about one player instruction in Football Manager, and that is the take more risk instruction. And I'm going to tell you how to use this instruction to transform your team from a team that is kind of struggling to create chances to a team that is creating loads of chances and scoring loads of goals. So currently this is my Monaco save, and for us to understand take more risk you have to actually read the description first of all. So I'm going to just go into one of the players here and one of this inside forwards and just go back to the edit instruction, and then you can hover over the right hand side here. You're going to see passing risk, and then just over take more risk you're going to see that more passing risk encourages players to play low percentage passes and through balls in the hope that one or two of those passes will actually unlock the opposition's defense in a potentially decisive manner. And you already see below for the inside forward that the take more risk instruction is already active for this role. Now there are some players that already have the take more risk instruction assigned to them. It means that these players are going to try their best to even play passes that normally shouldn't be played, more like through balls. If you're playing FIFA, if you press the triangle button, it's going to play a through ball. That is a very risky pass. That is what take more risk sort of means. So it's going to play a pass through two defenders or through players and try to get to somebody in space. So it's usually going to be a pass that is also into space to try and unlock the opposition's defense. That is kind of how take more risk works. Now, like I mentioned, there are some players that already have take more risk included in their player instruction, hard coded in there for them. If you look at the deep line forward here on support DT, he also has the take more risk instruction. So it means that some certain players are more creative than others. If you look at players like the advanced forward, he doesn't have the take more risk instruction hard coded into his DNA. Now, to find some players that do have the take more risk instruction, I will look at playmakers. I think all the playmakers do have a deep line playmaker, roaming playmaker. They all have the take more risk instruction hard coded into their DNA. And if you want to increase your chances of scoring goals or creating chances in your team, you can go ahead and include more players that have take more risk to try and play that low percentage passing that could unlock the opposition's defense. Now remember, when you do this, it means that your passing accuracy for your team is going to drop drastically because some players are going to be trying to play risky passes and not all of those passes are going to work out the way you expect them to work out. So it's almost like a 50-50 chance. If the players are good on the ball and can actually play the pass, this is where player attributes do come in. Players that have good passing and good vision who tend to play very accurate risky passes that can unlock the opposition's defense. But players that don't have that luxury, they may not go ahead and play those very good passes. But if you're in the lower leagues, remember the attributes sort of scale down, so you just have to look for players that have relatively good passing compared to all the other players in your team. Now another player that has the take more risk instruction assigned to him is a ball playing defender on defend DT. You're going to notice that I have a ball playing defender here that doesn't like taking more risk because he doesn't like playing through balls. So that's basically what take more risk says. Is the player going to play through balls often? Another defender that should have that instruction is the libero. But if you look at the libero on Football Manager, he doesn't actually have the take more risk instruction. So it's almost like the libero is a ball carrier and sort of like a pivot in the defensive midfield or defensive region. But you still have to ask him to take more risk. So it's not a hard-coded instruction for the libero. And that brings us down to how you can actually transform players in your team to become passing merchants somewhat. The kind of how Marcelo Bielsa transformed Calvin Phillips at Leeds United. Calvin Phillips to me is more of a ball-winning midfielder, and when I was playing in the lower leagues I had a defensive midfielder. Let me just go over to my 4-3-3 before I mess up my tactic right now. So I'm just going to jump over here to this 4-3-3 system that I have going on. Okay, this second one. So if you look at this player here in the anchor man, I can literally transform my anchor man to play as a ball-winning midfielder on defend DT, and then when he's on defend DT you can see that I can no longer ask him to take more risk. He's not going to be taking fewer risks, but if I ask him to play more direct passing, you can see that the guy is going to actually try to find some risk and try to unlock the opposition's defense, but he's not going to go overboard and be too risky with it. If you want to ask your ball-winning midfielder that is playing the DM role to be very adventurous and more creative for your team, is to go ahead and switch him to support duty and then ask him to take more risk. Essentially, you've turned the ball-winning midfielder to a deep line playmaker that is aggressive and can win possession back from the opposition. You can also do this to the defensive midfielder. I don't think the defensive midfielder has a take more risk instruction hard-coded. I'm just going to clear the instructions. Yes, he doesn't have it hard-coded into his DNA. So if you see the defensive midfielder here, no instructions for him. So in order to transform that player into a playmaker for your team, just go ahead to the player and then ask him to take more risk. I did that with my central midfielder on support DT, essentially turning him to another playmaker on the right hand side. So that is my understanding of take more risk instruction of Football Manager and how you can use it to transform your team from not creating so many chances to a team that can actually create a lot of chances. And remember, like I said, you have to consider your passing accuracy. It will drop to some extent, so a good way to balance this is to use shorter passing while you have some players playing take more more risk so they can go ahead and try to unlock your position's defense, even though the team as a collective is retaining possession. If you have more questions on Football Manager instructions like this, do let me know in the comment section. And for more Football Manager videos like this, check out the channel for anything interesting and subscribe to the channel while you're there for more Football Manager videos. I'll see you in the next video.